We've had some good news at Disney this year, right? Obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine being an outrageous success, Inside Out 2 being a generally normal film, being the highest grossing film and the highest grossing animated film of all time coming out this year, points to, hey, you know what, if you guys get out of politics, if you guys just go ahead and make good entertainment, people will be willing to give you a second look. And then also couple that with the report that Marvel has purged a bunch of the activists. They've, according to somebody on the inside, they have done their bit in regards to diversity for king and country. And now they're just going to return to some good old-fashioned storytelling. Hopefully some of that is true. It is yet to be seen. We've got to wade through a bunch of crap, and we just did in the form of Agatha, but does anybody even remember? It hasn't even been a week since that crap is, concluded, and nobody's talking about it at all, but it was super popular, guys. Trust me. It was the best thing that Marvel has done since the last best thing that Marvel has done. But eventually, we'll be able to see if there's any courses that have been corrected by the time, the July comes around. Don't know for sure. And maybe James Gunn's new rebooted DCU will actually get off on the right foot with Superman coming out. That's going to be an interesting time, but all of that stuff in the future, because there is another supposedly male-centric brand under the Disney umbrella that isn't looking to course correct at all whatsoever. They're in fact doubling down, and well, it's going to lead to their downfall, and it's so bad because it's a brand and it's a title and it's a studio that means so much to so many in the form of Lucasfilm and Star Wars, because if Marvel purged all of those ideologues, you know who ended up picking them up? That would be Lucasfilm, because you have a creative director, not just any creative director, somebody who has been with the company for a very long time, goes on an ugly tirade against a majority of Americans that could, influence a Gina Carano lawsuit. Yeah, another person that is afflicted with a terminal case of TDS, doubling down on their bad ideas, not facing any repercussions from Lucasfilm. Oh, God, no, of course not. They're on the right side of the equation. Therefore, feel free to spurg out to your heart's content. Because you have Lucasfilm creative director Joel Aaron posted on X some of the most vile commentary you'll ever see about his fellow Americans. Following the election, Mr. Aaron told the majority of Americans to blank themselves in a profane post that would make a Sarlacc blush with embarrassment. Although the post was later deleted, and so was his entire YouTube account, as far as I can see. Others have screenshotted it, and well, it just reads with the same unhinged rhetoric that you are likely to see from the likes of, Pedro Pascal, who very famously, in the aftermath of 2020, compared half of the nation to Confederates, which it's like, okay, cool. Don't actually mind that part. But then also, to Hitler's top guys as well. And what happened to him? Oh, right. He ended up getting rewarded with every role in Hollywood, including, Mr. Fantastic. So if you think Marvel's really course correcting, why would you go ahead and theoretically hand the reins to the MCU off to one of the most overworked actors in Hollywood, who is not a leading man, but Hollywood really wants you to think that he's a leading man when in reality, he's a bit player at best. That's all right. Joel Aaron, he's just a bit player, right? It's not like he's worked at Lucasfilm and done a bunch of the different animated projects. Well, hell, just about all of the animated projects. That's fine that he tells half of the country, well, at this point in time, over half of the country, in so many words, go suck a dick. There's nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. I'm sure he will be handsomely rewarded with one of the announced projects over there, over this past weekend at D23 down there in Brazil, where they reinforced that, Star Wars, we've got projects coming out. There's one coming out in early December. Y'all excited for Skeleton Crew? Right? Skeleton Crew. Whew, the Mandalorian and Grogu. Hey, Pedro Pascal, he might actually turn up because it's a movie this time around. It might actually take Mando's helmet off. Don't know for sure or not, but it's gonna have little Baby Yoda. You guys remember when that was popular back in 2019? Back when Star Wars actually put movies in the theater. But Andor Season 2 might actually be good. But yeah, they gave a release date for that. That's the last hope that something competent can come out of this current regime over there at Lucasfilm. But yeah, they're gonna have to wait an awful long time, and well, given the fact that, December 3rd, Skeleton Crew comes out, and Mandalorian and Grogu isn't coming out until 2026, there's going to be an awful lot of dead space and speculation, and perhaps some second looks at what is going on over there at Lucasfilm, because what else do you have coming out, bro? Like, this is the point in time, right? Like, there was a lot of stuff, especially from Marvel in phases 4 and 5, where they just continued to churn out new content so that people wouldn't have the opportunity to really analyze what is coming out and seeing how awful it was. Star Wars was also pretty good at doing the exact same stuff, because in pretty quick succession, you could always have the handoff between something Star Wars and over to something Marvel, and then hand it back, and then maybe you'd have something Star Wars and then something animated Star Wars, and then go back over to Marvel, and you could see how this stuff continues to go, and everybody who is just all plugged into this stuff can just, yeah, I like the colors on the screen, and not realize that, wow, this is all horrifically written, and I'm never going to go back and watch Ahsoka Season 1. How many people who loved Luke Skywalker turning up at the conclusion of Season 2 of Mandalorian actually went back and assessed that scene for what it was? It's like, oh my god, it was so great that, oh Luke, he finally returned to form. It's just, why did he show up, not ask any questions, just simply take the baby and not wonder why the Empire is back? Why didn't he do any of that stuff? Oh, but he swung around his green light stick, and it was so great. Oh, it was so much better than how he was treated in The Last Jedi. Oh, this is so great. But now that, after Skeleton Crew, there's 3 months, 4 months of dead air between Lucasfilm projects. Marvel, like, what's the next thing that they have coming out? Is it Ironheart? Who knows? Captain Black Falcon America Man comes out in February, and it's taken that, ice cold handoff from Agatha, and it's going to show you exactly what the current perception of the MCU is, because that bump from Deadpool and Wolverine earlier this year, that's going to be a one-off. That was an event movie. Now you have to go back to the Marvel sludge, and then from there, then you got the Thunderbolts, which is so interesting because apparently that got another trailer, but what exactly? Okay, so you got the Thunderbolts. You got this defined cast of characters, spin-offs from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Bro, you've got a sequel to a bunch of different crap that came out at that point in time 4 years ago. They're just really hoping that they can go ahead and get to the next thing because, they're learning right now, guys. Don't worry, okay? Marvel's going to course correct, and so is Star Wars. Once they get through this slate of things, oh my god, we have such vision. It's going to be great. We're going to get back to what made Star Wars great to begin with. We're going to be going back to the theaters. Mandalorian and Grogu is just the first of many great things to come, just like that Rey trilogy, which apparently she's going to be, which I don't believe this at all whatsoever, and maybe it's going to be a different take on this, but are they trying to find a way to say that the sequel trilogy was just merely analogous to the prequels and that this follow-up is going to be like the OT? Because Rey, it's like, this is so wild, especially for this character. New Star Wars trilogy will allegedly feature Daisy Ridley's Rey as an Obi Wan Kenobi figure. Okay, cool. Obi Wan Kenobi. Okay, not exactly the most gifted Jedi. Okay, he was not the best Force user. He was not the best lightsaber fighter. None of that stuff. He honed his skills over a long period of time. He eventually became a general in the Clone Wars. He amassed credibility, which ended up making him the perfect candidate to be a teacher. What exactly can Rey imbue into the next generation? Hey, you're having troubles with that? Have you tried not having troubles? Because that always worked for me. Oh, what's that? You can't lift a building with the Force? Have you tried again? It's like, this is so stupid. Or is it going to be, she's going to have this big heroic sacrifice? It wasn't bad enough. It wasn't bad enough that J.J. Abrams basically ripped A New Hope for Force Awakens, where now, in order to set up episode 10, they're just going to rip A New Hope again, taking another plot beat, one of the very few that you didn't take from beforehand, and then trying to make Rey this ethereal, otherworldly creature that can just go ahead and be a ever-present Force ghost everywhere. Yeah, okay, cool. I could see this not working at all. A new rumor claims that Daisy Ridley will return as Rey as an Obi Wan Kenobi figure in the recently announced Star Wars trilogy that will be written by Simon. I wrote all of the worst X-Men films, Kinberg, and produced by Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. She's not going anywhere. Want to talk about somebody who's going to become a Force ghost and linger over a property forever? That's Kathleen Kennedy in real life. Deadlines. Mike Fleming Jr. originally posted the trilogy. This was in the works, and we talked about that last week. He also noted that insiders disputed my intel that Kinberg will continue the storyline, saying that this instead will be a new saga to sit alongside the percolating Star Wars projects from James Mangold, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, Taika Waititi, and Donald Glover. As many other people have also pointed out, that there's a good chance that this supposed trilogy is more than likely just going to be folded in with the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy Rey movie. I would imagine so, right? Like, if Rey's going to be so integral to this story, why have another setup movie for her? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Making another Star Wars project based on the character of Rey makes no sense to begin with. It's just, why spin this off again? Why have a spin-off for something that everybody already perceives to be a spin-off to begin with? Over at The Hollywood Reporter, Boris Kitt shared the new story is not meant to be a continuation of the Skywalker Saga. The name of the overall arc of the popular and pop culture dominating Star Wars movies. It's known as episodes 1 through 6. He added, the intent here is to have brand new characters and a brand new story. It doesn't have to be a continuation. Then why are you going to have, Rey play such an important story to it? I find that to be interesting. Following these two reports, Jeff Snyder, in Snyder newsletter, that he's hearing Lucasfilm will position the trilogy, as episodes 10, 11, and 12. Furthermore, he shared, I'm hearing Daisy Ridley will come back to these new Star Wars movies, and Rey will be positioned as an Obi Wan of the new trilogy. Where, holy shit, does anybody want this? And Maz Kanata is going to be like, the Yoda of the new trilogy. Ugh. Not only does Snyder claim that Ridley will play a key role in the trilogy, but also claim that Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's film that is supposed to see Daisy Ridley creating a new Jedi Order is still on the table. So, okay, cool. Just because I thought, silly me on this one, okay? Just because I thought that would be the worst decision that they could possibly do, I kind of forgot that we're dealing with Lucasfilm, and they always go with the worst decision possible. Okay, so that's going to be, so what? They're going to use that as a setup for the new trilogy, where they put and position Rey as, reestablishing the new Jedi Order, and then make her Obi-Wan from there. Oh my god, it's so dumb. He revealed, to retell the story of Obi-Wan and how he failed and skulked away in between the prequel and the OT. Oh my god, they're gonna do. Oh my, that's exactly what they're gonna do. Okay, she's gonna be a better Obi-Wan because she was an even better Luke this time around. I hate this. I hate it. I'm not even like the biggest Star Wars fan, but I can already see the writing on the wall, and this is. Oh boy, it's so stupid that of course they're going to do it. Okay, revealed, that the screenwriter Stephen Knight exited the project, and that's why everybody is making this obvious connection between Simon Kinberg announcement and the fact that there's no writer attached to the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy Rey project, and it's like, it would make a lot of sense right here, it really would, but no, if they're going to be, if they're in for a penny, they're in for a pound. If the Force is female, make it double female. Know that you're going to be chewing through all of your goodwill, because I hope for the people that liked Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2 is great. I hope that the Skeleton Crew is also good. Might have some good characters, it might be inoffensive, it might even approach good. But honestly, man, given the fact that when it comes to announced projects, I know that Ahsoka Season 2 is supposed to be cooking, but after May, there's nothing coming out from Star Wars, which is crazy to think about, bro. That's going to be the biggest hiatus that they have had, ever since Disney has bought the project, okay? Because you remember, they were wrapping up, Clone Wars Season 8, and then, of course, they had Rebels cooking as well. And then they had, their yearly release schedule in the theaters, and ever since 2019, haven't really got back around to that, but they've had a consistent output of TV shows. But now, it's going to be nothing. That's what a lot of Star Wars fans, at least old Star Wars fans, would want out of the current Lucasfilm regime. But the more time and the more open highway that they give people, the more they're going to start to come around and go, wow, none of this stuff is good. Not very evergreen. It was more or less we were prisoners of the moment. These are the people that actually like this stuff. And then they start to come around to the idea that, maybe Kathleen Kennedy should be fired. Maybe she hasn't done a lot of good stuff. But according to Snyder here, shared belief that this trilogy is the last hurrah for Kennedy and a Disney CEO, Bob Iger. I mean, they're both mid-70s. Like Kathleen Kennedy, I think, just turned 70, 72 or something like that. And by the time that even this trilogy gets off the ground, nothing's been formally announced. We're still, even right now, 5-6 years from episode 10 hitting theaters? Because I'd imagine they're probably still figuring out exactly what's going on. Maybe, working on who's, because Kinberg has just been attached to it. Maybe he signed on the dotted line, but hasn't done anything in regards to a script. Stephen Knight leaving the Ray project, and who knows how far along he got on that script. So yeah, they basically have to start from scratch on this one. And if they are going to plan something out, well, that would be good. That would be a little bit of a reason to hope that this could be something a little bit more substantive than the sequel trilogy. But in reality, it's still the same hacks at play. You got Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and whatever empty suit they get to sit in the director's chair. Make her Obi Wan Kenobi, make her Darth Ray for all anybody cares. It doesn't matter. It's going to come across with the same amount of quality that we have been subjected to over these past 12 years Disney has had a Lucasfilm. I guess the best news is that there is no news, and that we could go ahead and breathe at least a little bit of a sigh of relief that one of your childhood favorite characters will not be besmirched in 2025. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.